Yes, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman, Alfred.
I'm Batman.
I am Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
Greetings, Bat Family, and welcome back to Holy BatCast, brought to you by Real Fans for Real Movies. Please visit our website, holybatcast.com, or follow us all over the internet on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast. We are also on Patreon, so if you love the show that much that you'll want to show it, you can do it on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/holybatcast. No pressure, just a friendly heads up from us to you. We are a proud part of the Real Fans Podcast Network, so if you are looking for other shows to check out, you can check those out at rf4rm.com. And as always, I am your host, Andy DiGenova, and if you'd like to follow me, you can do that on Twitter or on Instagram. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. In this episode, we are going to be looking at the new trailer for Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, which is just over a month from coming out in theaters everywhere, but it's premiering at the Venice Film Festival in within the week, something like that. We'll also review the next episode of Batman Beyond, and then we of course will wrap up with your emails in the Wayne Manor mailbox. Joining me for such fun, I have two of my own Jokers that are always here. First of all, he's like our Jack Nicholson Joker. It's Jamie Drewley. Hey, Jamie.
I don't even have anything for that.
I don't even know why, if I'm being honest. I don't know.
Okay, I'm honored because I know what a fan you are of that Joker. So I guess that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Don't read too much into it. It just is.
Okay.
Anyway, also joining, he's our Jared Leto Joker. You should read a lot into it, Brendan. It's Brendan. Hello.
Yeah, I don't know whether I should be proud or offended or... Yeah, we didn't really get to see enough of Leto's Joker, did we, to really make a decision?
No, not really. Hey, we're not supposed to talk about this, but hey, give me your odds that he will pop up in Birds of Prey.
Well, if those set photos or the leaks that happened a while ago are anything to go by, it's not him playing the character, but there's a very much a Leto-looking Joker that features somewhere along the lines there.
Well, so yeah, but then he cut his hair again, and then we know the movie went for reshoots. So that's where my question mark comes in.
Yeah,
is did they shoot it with a stand-in in case they couldn't get him? And then they got him?
I'd say that's a solid bet.
So I don't know. It's just a random thought. But since
I didn't get a look at any of those images that dropped today, so I don't know what any of them even involve. But
there's no Joker in them. I only saw a few on Twitter. So what Jamie's referring to, folks, is that the Birds of Prey trailer is, I guess, ready to go because there were a bunch of stills that leaked today, and I just happened upon them as I woke up on Twitter to the point where I was like, hey, guys, is there a Birds of Prey trailer, too, that I missed? But apparently, right now, it's just leaked images. But I didn't look too hard, but I didn't see any Joker in there.
I honestly don't look for that trailer until basically when Joker comes out.
Well, and I mean, now my guess is because apparently it's made, the fact that it's done enough that there are images out there, my guess is it will come out next week with it.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Because they expect it to be their biggest movie of the year, even bigger than Joker. So I'm sure that they're going to want it in theaters for that.
Also a valid point. But since you said that, now it'll drop tomorrow.
That's true. But, well, now that it's leaked, there's still a chance it might drop tomorrow. It depends on how mad they are. So, anyway, that'll be coming, which is good. But we're not ready to talk about it. However, speaking of it, the director, Andy Muschietti, there was a rumor out there that he was going to be the next in a very long line of filmmakers to do The Flash. But the reason it's worth noting is that he himself has now confirmed it. Which means, I mean, honestly, I believed the rumor because it certainly fit in with what WB seems to be doing, which is filmmaker makes them a ton of money on a low-budget horror film, give that filmmaker one of their DC movies. It worked for James Wan, it worked for David Sandberg, and so why not Andy Muschietti? But he is out there doing the press for It Chapter 2, because It Chapter 2 has already had its premiere. But I guess, it comes out in a week, so I guess it would. Duh, I'm sorry, my timeline is all messed up in my brain. But he's out there doing the press for it, and he confirmed it with, who was it? Fandango.
Yes.
Fandango asked
him about it. Then Collider reported it.
So they asked if The Flash was truly his next project. He said, yep. And then if they asked if there would be any horror elements of the film, he said, an element of horror? I don't think so. What captivated me about The Flash is the human drama in it, the human feelings and emotions that play into the drama of it. It's going to be fun, too. I can't promise that there will be any horror, really, but it's a beautiful human story. So, I guess he's in. And again, I'm not exactly shocked. I sort of expected it once we know that John Francis Daley and Jonathan
Goldstein?
Maybe, I think so. My brain's not fully working yet. But yeah, once they departed, and then the rumors of Andy Muschietti started to surface, I went, yeah, that makes sense. And now it seems like it's happening. So, thoughts, feelings, reactions, Jamie.
It's the Hollywood squares of directorial gigs, so I'm not getting my hopes up until shit actually starts going.
So does that mean Paul Lynde
I
is
hate
next?
To say that because I want that movie as bad as anybody else does, other than maybe the hardest of hardcore Flash fans. But I mean, we've been here once too often. I mean, cry wolf too many times and all that. So I'm just not. I'm all for it if it goes to fruition in this particular format. Great with these people, great. But until I actually see genuine production stuff rolling with it, I'm not quite at the moment where they, if they pull this one out from underneath us, I'm going to say I need a trailer before I believe it'll actually happen. But in this case, I just need to know the production is truly moving forward. But until I see that, I'm having a hard time getting any enthusiasm for it.
I think with the form that sort of Warner Brothers DC is taking post Snyder, this one makes a lot of sense when you look at it, because you've had James Wan, David F. Sandberg, and now Andy Muschietti. So you've got 3 horror directors there, and they've had success with 2 of them crossing over to a DC property. It has got a lot of heat around it. The first one was a surprise monster hit, no pun intended. And this second one, like you said before, they're expecting huge returns on it, which wouldn't surprise me because, there's the likes of me who watched the trailer for the first movie and was so shit scared, literally said out loud, there is no way I will ever see that movie. And I watched it for the second time the other day, in preparation to go and see It Chapter 2 on the big screen. So I think this thing's going to make a lot of money. And if the director can follow that up with a Flash movie, it makes a lot of sense. But I am like you guys as well. I'm very cautiously optimistic because there have been good directors attached to this thing before, and it's fallen through. But like I said, in the post-Snyder DC, on-screen world, this makes a lot of sense.
I completely agree. I think it does make a lot of sense. Again, I do believe it. I think the odds are better than they have been, I think, because this is the 4th director, or 5th if you count Goldstein and Daley as 2. I guess there are 2 people, but they were joint. But again, as we talked about with the other horror crossovers that WB has used, you go, okay, who's their new golden boy? It's the guy who made it, Andy Muschietti. Hey, get him on board. So, hey, fingers crossed. But like you guys, I'm not buying my tickets yet. We'll wait and see. Once bitten, twice shy, and then 3 and 4 times, bite me again, daddy. Just keep biting me, WB. But for now, I'm excited and I want this freaking movie, and so I hope to God that this is the one that finally gels and finally happens. So here's the other big question then. Ezra Miller, do you think he's coming back, or do you think we're going to get a new Flash? Jamie?
If you ask Ezra Miller, he's coming back. So, I mean, what else do you have to go on by now? Gut feeling says at this point he wants to do it, and they like him, and he's a commodity for Warner Brothers right now, so they're going to bend to his will a little bit, I suppose. So I would say there's as much or more chance of him coming back to the role as there is of Muschietti sticking with it, for whatever that's worth.
Brendan?
I mean, yeah, I'd like to see him come back. I'm sort of with Jamie in terms of the director with this one, flip of a coin. Oh, sorry, no, it was with Jared Leto. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays. I wouldn't be surprised if they recast. I don't think there's as much attachment to Ezra Miller's Flash as there is with, say, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman and, Aquaman and stuff. But time will tell. We know that Ezra Miller really wants to do it, so I hope he gets the chance because he seems very passionate about it. So.
Yeah, well, and I even think that they would have considered recasting Aquaman if that movie wasn't already in production.
Yeah, true.
I would not have been shocked. But fortunately, it was already in production, and so we got the movie we did, and I love it. But yeah, a couple months ago, I would have said, nope, Ezra Miller's gone. I'd be sad about it because I really liked him in Justice League. But yeah, I would have thought for sure, no, he's gone. But based on what he has been saying, it seems like he's there. It seems like he's sticking around and he's going to do it, which makes me very happy. It apparently, from what I've seen amongst fans, is they're a little split on Ezra Miller. Some people really liked him. Some people really didn't, which I was a little surprised by, but it's just the way it is. But yeah, I mean, again, if you'd asked me that question 3 months ago, I'd go, no, I'm sorry. I think we've seen the last of Ezra Miller. But now the fact that he has continued to double down on it, and it sounded like WB had its option to move on without him a couple months ago, and they did not. They did keep him. And the fact that as recently as a couple of weeks ago, he said, nope, the Flash is definitely happening, and I'm the Flash. I went, okay, I guess he's the guy still, which, again, I'm really happy about. But I'm sure that people are like, yeah, but didn't Ben Affleck say the same thing? Well, not really. Not really. Ben Affleck always dodged the question, and he said it. He always answered in a very calculated way without ever saying, he never said, I'm doing the movie. He would always say I'm just really lucky that I get to be Batman, which is not the same thing. So Ezra Miller has not dodged the question, which makes me think that for now, yes, the plan is he's going to do it. But I also think that they will give Andy Muschietti the final call. So if Andy Muschietti starts putting the movie together and he wants a different Flash, my guess is the WB will be like, great, we love Ezra. He can keep doing Fantastic Beasts, but yeah, pick a new Flash. But for now, it seems like he's our guy. So yeah, I hope to God the movie happens. We are so overdue for it. It is just, it's ridiculous. But hopefully this is the one that makes it happen. And considering the success he has had with it, again, using pretty small budgets and making movies that look a hell of a lot more expensive than they were, and Warner Brothers just wanting to stay in the Andy Muschietti business, I think it's all good signs. But man, like, how many movies like this have we seen? So many filmmakers come and go. It's truly baffling. But hopefully this will be the one that makes it happen. But as you guys have learned, like, don't listen to me, because usually I manage to jinx these things, because when there was buzz about Todd Phillips wanting to do a Joker origin movie, I was like, nah, it ain't gonna happen. Come on, give me a break. And here we are. We just got our final trailer for Joker, and the movie, again, premieres at the Venice Film Festival in a matter of days, and then we're all, well, everyone but me will see it on October 6th? Is it October 6th?
Fourth.
Fourth. See, my brain. Sorry. So yeah, everyone else will see it on October 4th, and I will hopefully see it shortly after when I am back in the States visiting, because the smart money says I'm not getting it in China. But if the planets align, there is a chance I might get to see it with Jamie.
Ooh.
Well, Jamie's trip is officially booked as of last night, so.
So,
where's Jamie going?
he is going to be in Florida the same time I am. So,
Oh, nice.
if we can work it out, maybe we can see Joker together and share a popcorn. Actually, I've gone so long without American popcorn, I don't want to share.
No, I'm getting the kettle corn, and you can't stop me.
No, don't do this. Well, then never mind. I'm getting my own, and it's going to be a large. And then I'm going to hate myself when it's over.
Get a cherry Coke, 2 straws, though. It'll be cool.
Okay, great. Please. The movie is coming in just over a month, which is crazy. So we did get the final trailer. We knew that this was coming as well. They did lead up to it a little bit. I think on Instagram, they had like these little Instagram clips that were like 5 seconds each. And each of them had like a little scratched mark in it, and then once they were all posted on Instagram, you'd go to the grid and it would say, trailer on 8/28, I think it said. So we have a final 2-minute, 30-second trailer and for Joker, and we have watched it, and how do we feel about it, Jamie?
Well, as we were talking before we started recording, I've seen this trailer like 7 or 8 times. I think it's 8 times now. I still don't have any idea what this movie's about, but I'm okay with that.
It's about Joker.
I understand that, but I mean, take for instance all the murmurings that people were talking about from the script leak, the air quotes, the alleged script leak. None of that's in here. So either they're really holding a lot of stuff back in this trailer, which they certainly did with Shazam, so maybe that's the case. They certainly did with Aquaman, so maybe that's the case. And maybe the script leak was BS. Maybe people reporting about the script leak was BS. I mean, who knows? I wasn't paying a great deal of attention to that. All I know is that people are still apparently ass hurt to hell about what they allegedly read about this script. And all I can say is it's a movie about the effing Joker. I'm not entirely sure what you're expecting. But anyway, I'm intrigued. I got to tell you, I heard Phoenix do that laugh toward the beginning of the trailer, and it sent chills straight up my spine. So
I think that's destined to be Gift, where he laughs and then immediately goes serious.
I tell you what, yeah, exactly. I would love to have that as like my text tone on my phone right now. That's how much I love it.
Oh,
yeah,
weirdo.
Yeah.
You're the weirdo that all these people are warning us about who are going to like this movie, which must mean you're sick.
Oh, it must. Me, the guy who cheers for the shark and Jaws, the ape and Kong, the giant lizard and Godzilla, whether Godzilla's a good guy or not. I mean,
Jason Voorhees.
Jason, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So, yeah, seriously, get over this depravity claim and whatever else. People just aren't happy unless they're bitching on this social media thing. It's insane. But anyway, back to this movie. I like what I'm seeing from it, but I don't feel like I'm getting the full context of any of it. Like, a lot of times you watch a trailer and you feel like you kind of have the gist of what the movie's going to be. I get none of that with this. I'm pretty sure Robert De Niro is not going to survive the movie. That's as much as I can throw out to you at this point.
That makes sense. I didn't think about it, but that would not shock me either.
Just kind of the way that he's mocking him in the trailer. I mean, I don't know. There's things that I kind of get feelings about, but I have nothing to substantiate the feelings, so they're probably moot anyway. But I like what I see. I like the performance that Phoenix is putting in. I started watching it the other night with my son because this comes out on my son's birthday, so I kind of have to field the movie and get an idea of what it's going to be before I take him to see it, so I know it's not too much for him to handle at his age. But he really wants to see the movie. And we're sitting there watching the trailer in the living room, and my wife looks up and goes, "What is this?" And I just looked at her and smiled. And she goes, "Is he okay? He looks really sick. Did he lost a ton of weight?" And then she looked over at me, and I smiled at her again. She goes, "This is that Joker movie, isn't it?" I said, "Yeah." She's like, "Weird." I'm like, "Yeah, it is. It is weird. That's for sure." So, I mean, it even had her attention. I'm not saying she's wanting to see it or anything, but I mean, it caught her
that
attention.
That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. She's aware of Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, I don't know that I'd call her a fan, but I mean, she knows who he is, and I've never heard her voice anything against his acting. She's seen a number of movies with him in it, and she always seems to enjoy what he turns in. So, I think he's going to give us something really special. The talent that is involved with this movie just seems like a good formula to me. And it's nearly impossible for this thing to fail at this budget. I mean, I had this discussion with Ray from Fans Without Borders on Twitter the other day. He's like, we need to make this thing a runaway hit so that more films like this, where it's kind of like an Elseworlds or standalone film or something like that, can happen going forward, because we'd all like to see that at some level or another. And I was like, it's going to have to tank monumentally for the thing not to make a profit. But he's right. The thing's got to be a smash hit in order to motivate them. Making profit with this won't be good enough. It's going to have to get, probably a $250 million domestic for them to really even stand up and take note, because we're not going to get any Chinese money out of this movie. You're right about that. So there's no dependency on that happening.
At least not at the cinema.
Yeah.
Well, Trenchcoat might have it, but
Yeah, I was going to say.
for those who don't know, Trenchcoat's what I call Andy's DVD pal over there in his neighborhood. So
Hell yeah, they're a lifesaver. I actually will respectfully disagree. I don't think it has to do that much for them to be happy with its take. I think that it does Conjuring numbers, and they're going to be happy as hell. If it does 300 worldwide, I think they're going to be totally happy because they budgeted reasonably. A $55 million budget, if it makes 300 worldwide, my guess is they're going to go, great, let's do this. We can do smaller, more character-focused movies, budgets that are under $100 million, and there's an audience for it. I think that they budgeted it the way they did for a reason, so it didn't have to be this barn burner that's going to take the world by storm. But the irony is that it might anyway. And I think that, yes, the more it makes, the more they will take notice. But again, I think 300 million, they'll all high five and go, great, that's a double. Good job, everybody.
All right. The other things that I'm feeling with this movie is it's weird. It's going to have to be word of mouth. This isn't going to be a $75 million opening weekend kind of movie. It's got to be word of mouth and legs that carry the thing, because it's kind of a niche thing, and I don't know who the niche is exactly for, because obviously there's plenty of fans that are pissed off about a Joker film that doesn't involve Joker, but we just saw a Venom film without Spider-Man clean house globally, so there's that. General audience appeal, I'm not sure that this is something my dad would see. I really don't know that it would have appealed to him. So that's where I'm at. I mean, you have fanboys, and I don't say that in a negative tone. I mean, that's I'm proud to be one. So I'm whatever. There's a lot of fanboys that don't want anything to do with it because there's no Batman, and it just doesn't have any involvement with a true DC universe. There's DCEU fans, the Snyder cultists, whatever you want to call them, that don't want anything to do with it because it doesn't have anything to do with the portion of the universe that they love. The general audience, I'm not sure how they're going to feel about the film. Obviously, it's got no child appeal because of the R rating. So, I mean, it's kind of in a weird spot here. I'm not sure. That's the only reason I'm not ready to proclaim that this thing's going to light the box office up, even though I truly hope it does, is I think it's a weird placement for who it's going to appeal to.
I'd like to hear what you think the box office is going to be if there was a Sizzler gift card on the line, Jamie.
If I had to take a stab in the dark, I'm going to say probably in the 115 to 120 domestic.
Total?
That's my personal feel. I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. That's just kind of where I'm feeling it.
Well, do you want to hear a fun story?
Sure.
So boxofficepro.com, boxofficepro.com, who they do the long range tracking. So anytime you hear about the tracking numbers, it tends to come from, it originates with boxoffice.com, and then all the other sites kind of do their forecasting off of that. So maybe box office says, $50 million, but then Box Office Mojo will go, well, they're saying 50, but we did some additional digging and we think it's going to be 55 or whatever. So boxofficepro.com is legit. I do check it pretty regularly. Guess what they have Joker opening at?
45 million. I don't know.
$81 million.
Really?
I think the interest is there.
Fascinating.
They tend to be
maybe I'm
they
wrong.
tend to be pretty close. Like, I mean, again, it's tracking, so it's never 100%, but they tend to be pretty accurate. And they're the ones who like do the polling of what the awareness is and the intent to see, and they check the people checking the IMDb page, and et cetera, et cetera. And they have it tracking for an opening weekend of $80 million, which is crazy. Will it have the legs? Who knows, depending on how divisive the movie is, depending on how much people actually like it. But I certainly think the interest is there.
Opening, would it need legs, though?
Not really.
No, it wouldn't. But I don't think I'm stunned. I mean, I'm happy to eat some crow fricassee on that one. I'd be glad to, but I don't feel that. But we all know how my box office feelings come to fruition, so don't listen to me here.
So no, I think that we were all shocked. A couple weeks ago, the long range tracking was at 70 or 75, and people were like, "Holy crap! Like, it's going to make its budget back the first weekend," and that's been nudged up just a tiny bit to 81.
And I don't imagine the marketing budget for this thing is outrageous either. Because
No.
What have we had? We've had a teaser, a trailer, and like 3 posters, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little early to start talking about TV spots, and I cut the cord anyway, so I wouldn't know. But
right. And also, I realized over the past couple months is that I am no longer a very good gauge of promotion because I'm in another country. So there's a lot of promotion I just won't see. And so there's certain movies like this summer that like underperformed or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't see any marketing for it. And I was like, oh yeah, probably because I'm in China. That's probably because I didn't see anything. I can't tell you if something's been heavily marketed or not, but it seems like in line with the production budget, the marketing budget for Joker feels like it's very focused, but not extreme or exorbitant. So no, I think they're gonna do just fine on Joker. I mean, yes, there's certainly people who are like, I'm not interested, or taking the stance that
that's
somehow
bullshit.
Yeah,
we all know they're gonna go.
Maybe.
no,
maybe.
normally I would say that you're right about that, but we're what, 90 days removed from Andy and I saying, oh hell, they're not going to make this movie. Oh hell, I can't imagine this movie's going to be any good. Now here we are dedicating an episode to a trailer for it. So, I mean, again, the difference between me and a lot of other people, I don't have any problem telling somebody when I'm wrong. I'll happily admit to being wrong about something.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and again, from the moment this went into production, I was like, well, guys, I was wrong. Don't listen to me. And now, to your point, Jamie, it is probably one of the more intriguing and unique comic book movies that I think has ever been made, if I can say that. It just is so different, which is, I think, probably the most exciting thing about it. Brendan, we didn't we kind of went off on the box office tangent, but coming back to the trailer, when you get the trailer in a few weeks in Australia after the movie opens, please let us know what you think.
I will. So, Batman Beyond? No, it's a really good trailer. Even Jess messaged me the other morning when it had dropped over here, and she was like, geez, that Joker movie looks really good. I think it's going to do well just out of sheer people's curiosity.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got people like us who, we're in the bag anyway. Joker is, arguably the most popular villain in all of comics. So it's got that going for it. Yes, it's got the R rating, which I think over here is going to be MA, which is 15 plus. Which, that's going to limit some of the audience, but it's not made for kids anyway, and that's fine. Well,
we've learned from Deadpool that you don't even need the kids to be huge, like
or Jamie Drewley's money.
Right.
Actually, Deadpool has my money.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's right. Remember, he bought a ticket, but
you
didn't
weren't
go.
in on that? Yeah, I bought a ticket and threw it away.
Okay.
I told everybody, if the movie winds up being the X-Men film that's, finally true to the X-Men characters and does everything the right way, and you all assure me that it is that, I will buy a ticket to the film. And I did, and I took a photo of it, and then I took a photo of me dropping it in a trash can. Because I'm not going to sit through that shit.
Okay, fair enough.
You should. It's really good.
But I mean, yeah, I think if the movie's genuinely good, which it, based on the trailers, it looks like it's going to be. I mean, there's too many talented people involved in this, I think, for it, whether it's subjectively good is different, but I think there's too many talented people involved for it not to be a good movie. And if the word, I think, again, taking the child market out of it, but if it has the good word of mouth that, say, you know, Wonder Woman and Aquaman do, I'm not saying it's going to make that sort of money, but they were movies that were coming off the back of Batman versus Superman and, you know, and Justice League and that sort of stuff that weren't well received. Yet they made a lot of money, particularly Aquaman. I don't think it's going to make $1 billion or anything, but if the word of mouth is the same as what it was for the likes of Wonder Woman and Aquaman, I think people who are on the fence, it's going to push them over. And I can't see it not doing well, particularly because it was made for such a small amount of money as far as movies go. It looks good. And I mean, there's already Oscar buzz. Like, when does that happen?
Yeah.
Well, how much of that is legitimate and how much of that is people saying, well, Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor. And you know, I heard the Oscar talk before the first trailer even hit. So I wonder how much of that is just general speculation.
Didn't it kind of ramp up because of their debuting it at this film festival?
I think it's that narrative has only gotten louder. I mean, you're right, Jamie, that like when he was cast and he agreed to do it, after he turned down so many other comic book movies, the fact that he agreed to this, I think that fans immediately jumped on it then and being like, oh my God, like Joaquin Phoenix, this is a guy who does not half-ass it. He's going to do Joker. Like, I could see this winning an Oscar. And what's crazy, though, is that narrative has only gotten stronger because, yes, like, we saw the first trailer. Buzz was great. We've seen a little bit of footage. We've seen the photos. And then the fact that they were going to premiere it at the Venice Film Festival, which often is a launching point for a lot of Oscar hopefuls. And now we've seen the second trailer. And I think, I want to say it was random, but I want to say it was Josh Gad who retweeted the Joker trailer and was like, a Joker movie is going to win Best Picture, isn't it? And so, like everybody, I'm not everybody. Again, there are certainly people who aren't looking forward to it or don't like what they're seeing. But like there's a huge amount of people, famous and not famous alike, pundits and fans alike, being like, holy shit, like this could actually go the distance, especially when it comes to prestige and awards and whatnot. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's almost like fans wished it into happening. I guess, is that the secret? They envisioned it and now it seems to actually be happening. And which is crazy because like it's amazing how that's happened. And people are seeing these trailers and being like, wow, like this looks like something that could knock everyone on their asses. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Like maybe it's all smoke and mirrors and you watch the actual movie and it's garbage. Who knows? But like the trailers are doing a hell of a good job selling us on this movie because it is shot beautifully. The performance certainly looks like it's there. So like the fact that the awards buzz is only getting louder is pretty amazing.
And it certainly has more attention than just the fan community, because I have it pulled up right now on my TV, on YouTube, on the Warner Brothers channel. And just on the Warner Brothers channel, which probably had more traffic than anywhere else, but you have IGN and Joe Blow and 24 other places that have this trailer on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Just the Warner Brothers channel alone is at 16 million views in 2 days, which obviously isn't Endgame or massive superhero film levels or Star Wars or anything like that, but for what could be almost classified as an art house film, getting 16 million views is pretty impressive.
Well, and I have the IGN version pulled up just because it was what was on the homepage, and it blows my mind that like these, I guess they're not fan sites, but like these sites that aren't the official WB site end up higher in the searches than WB. That always baffles me, but it was the first one that came up, so I pulled it up, and that one has over 8 million. So you add the 16 from WB to 8 million on IGN, not to mention what Joe Blow or what these other sites have with their posting of it. It all adds up pretty quick.
Yeah.
You're right. It's not Avengers Endgame, but it's huge.
I always look for the official one anyway. Like, even if I have to scroll for it, I will try and find the official one.
I do
So
too.
I
Like I
generally pull it up
try,
by
yeah.
studio.
I try, but like sometimes it's so buried under these other sites that just do a better job of getting the algorithm to work in their favor.
Well, I mean, it's not even that. I have the Warner Brothers page bookmarked on my YouTube, so all I have to do is click twice and I'm there.
But yeah, no, there's a lot of buzz. There's a lot of interest. Again, from fans and non-fans alike. And there is certainly a vocal minority that are not into it. And here's the thing. If you see this trailer and you're not into it, that's okay. Like, I don't blame you. It's a very distinct style. It is a very interesting take. It's a very different type of comic book movie. And if that doesn't appeal to your tastes, I get it. I'm intrigued by it, but if you're not, I get it. For me, it's more the vocal people who are trying to like say that there is something inherently wrong with this movie. When from day one they were like, yeah, think Taxi Driver with the Joker is Taxi, you know, like, and that's what they're delivering. So it's the people who are trying to decry it as some sort of front against humanity, where it's like, settle down, it's a movie about the Joker. Like, what did you think it was going to be? Puppies and rainbows? Like, let them make their movie, and if you're not interested, nobody's forcing you to watch it. But
Well,
like,
Taxi Driver was such a happy-go-lucky movie, though. I mean, Danny DeVito in the cab stand and Judd Hirsch driving around. I mean, that's I get why people expected that. Once they
the
got into it.
incomparable Christopher Lloyd. I mean,
Oh yeah,
what's not to like?
Mary Lou Henner. I mean, come on.
Mary Lou Henner. Oh, delightful she is. No, so yeah, like, you don't have to be into the movie, but like, don't try to paint the people who are interested in the movie as bad people because they want to see the movie. Give me a break. And that's, I mean, for me, like, I think what I do like about it the most, or what interests me the most about it, is that it looks like no other comic book movie we've ever seen. It is so its own thing. And I love that. Like, I love that Todd Phillips wanted to take this big swing. I love that Warner Brothers gave him $50 million to try. And maybe it'll pay off. I think it will pay off financially regardless. Will it pay off creatively? I don't know. But I'm willing to let them try, and I'm excited to see what this is going to be. So, yeah, and if this does break big, or this does make money, then yeah, as Jamie implied when we started, like, that only opens the door for more interesting and experimental comic book movies, and I'm all for that. And some of those I will like, and some of those I won't. You know, like what I just mentioned, Deadpool is very different. I love it. Logan is very different. I don't love it. But hey, they got to make their movies, and I don't have to like every single one of them, but I at least like a landscape where filmmakers are allowed to put a unique stamp on a comic book movie, and this is totally that. And this is the movie they promised us. It's a very 70s era psychological drama, if you will, but through the lens of the Joker. I love the way it's shot. I love the way it looks. It's beautiful, and it's like beautiful in a very interesting throwbacky kind of way. Very Taxi Driver, very 70s. They definitely wanted to do a Scorsese version of a Joker movie, and that's what they're giving us. And I'm into it. Like, there's not a hint of CG.
Is he still a producer, or was that all like way back in the day?
I don't think he is. It's like his co-producer is, but he's not.
Okay.
But if you told me he was, I'd go, yeah, looks like it.
Yeah.
It definitely has an influence of Scorsese as far as the feel, but yeah, I don't think he's got a lick of anything to do. I don't even think he has an EP credit on it anymore.
I don't think so, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like he and Todd Phillips are friends, and then De Niro's in it. So, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like he maybe was a part of the inception. He kind of helped get the pieces in place, and then he stepped away to go do The Irishman. But you would think that would at least get him an executive producer credit.
I haven't looked it up or anything, but I don't think he even has that involvement with it.
I don't think he does either. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what I've heard, is they thought he was going to, and then he's not. But anyway, regardless, you can certainly see that influence. And I also like, from what I'm seeing in this trailer, is that, you know, it's not unique to say that following Heath Ledger or even Jack Nicholson, following those Jokers, it's a tough order to fill of trying to do a new spin on the Joker. And I feel like, although I very much liked him, I feel like Jared Leto maybe tried too hard to be so completely different, because I think that he didn't want, he very much to do his own thing. And I feel like Joaquin Phoenix, from what I'm seeing in this trailer, is sort of doing the opposite, in that he's actually grounding it more. So instead of going bigger or going extremely like taking a hard right turn, he's instead like pulling it in and bringing it back and doing it almost understated. And I think that was a great approach, because I'm really intrigued by it. Like, the way he is performing, especially as Arthur Fleck, is captivating, but it's very much focused and smaller. Whereas, I mean, we're seeing glimpses of his Joker, but I'm really curious to see then how, when he completely loses as the Joker, how that's gonna compare to what he's doing as Arthur Fleck.
Well, naturally, my brain automatically always defaults to anything I can relate to Dark Knight Returns, but I just have the feeling that as he walks out on that stage and he's introduced as Joker by Robert De Niro, it's going to be like the Joker's David Endocrine appearance in Dark Knight Returns. Just take out everybody in the room.
So there's going to be little flying Cabbage Patch Kids
with stuff. Yeah, not that way, but you follow what I'm saying. I just feel like that's going to be the trigger moment there, because he's got an audience, he's got cameras on him. That just feels like the natural time for him to really step into the evil SOB that he's going to be.
Mm. And I know that like trailer editing can be deceptive, and a lot of the times they cut that way to be deceptive, but it's almost like De Niro's character, like the way he sort of slanders him on screen, is almost like the breaking point for Arthur, and this is going to be, him getting some sort of revenge, or proving that, he is funny. And by funny being slaughtering people. So,
yeah, I mean, you can see clues throughout both of the trailers so far that the world just kicks this guy when he's down and just puts its heel on his neck and will not let up. I mean, just every time you turn around, there's something else happening to this guy. And what have we had, like 4 minutes worth of trailer so far? Mm-hmm. And you see half a dozen different things happen to him, and you think, okay, that could be the moment. So.
Well, I do love that scene in this trailer where he's, something's happened to his mother. Obviously, he's in the hospital with her, and
that's one of them.
And he is, he sees Robert De Niro on the TV making fun of him publicly, and I kind of like that, in that oftentimes we're in this world that's like, go for your dreams, go for it, and he did. He put himself out there. He wants to be a comedian. Is what we're assuming based on everything that we're seeing. And he went out there, he put himself out there, which took a lot of courage, and he gets famous for being really bad at it, which is sort of heartbreaking, which of course is very, I think, is not uncommon in our world of social media and YouTube and sharing things like that. He's like the William Hung of comedy.
That's what I was about to say. I was like trying to search my brain for like, what was that guy's name from Idol? That's exactly what I was thinking of.
I mean, it's hard enough to put yourself out there and fail, but then for the whole world to laugh at you for failing, man, like that's, your heart breaks for him in that second. And again, it's not the whole like, oh, no, I'm going to side with the Joker, but you can understand where a character is coming from and still not be on their side. And in that moment, I mean, I think that's what all of us fear when we put ourselves out there, is not only am I going to fail, but everybody's going to see it. And in this one, it gets blown up to a whole different level. And so, I think that's actually kind of cool, because then that definitely sets up his triumphant return on the show. And I do like that moment towards the end of the trailer too, where he adopts the name Joker, and he asks Robert De Niro to introduce him as Joker.
This is another one of those situations where, of course, your purists are going to say, oh, this is bullshit. Joker shouldn't have an origin. He shouldn't exist without Batman, yada, yada, yada. And I get it. Okay, we felt the same way before this movie actually went into production. I voiced my concerns about it, but the fact of the matter is, if somebody like Jeff Lemire or some really darker-edged writer wrote a one-shot Elseworlds type of a book that was based on this premise, plenty of people would be excited to read that. So why not make a movie like that?
Well, they pretty much they did do that.
That's what I'm saying. I like the concept that they're doing. I don't know that I need a whole universe of this. I mean, if you want to make not like an anthology, but like make numbers of movies like this where it's not directly involved with this one, I'm okay with that. But like, I don't need a whole universe in Joaquin Phoenix Joker. You know what I'm saying? Like, one movie is probably going to be more than sufficient for it. But that's what boggles me, is so many people are so much more open with different mediums than they are with the movies. It baffles me that they don't even want to give something like this a chance. And again, that's probably just a vocal minority, as we've said a couple of times already. But be open-minded. At least watch the movie before you decide you're going to freaking hate it.
Well, and I don't really disagree with those people. I do get it, because that was, I certainly came from that angle when they announced this movie. I'm like, do I really want to watch a Joker movie that he's probably not the Joker till the end, and it doesn't have Batman, and it doesn't include like Batman's world? And I totally get that, so I don't blame anyone who feels that way.
No,
and
I understand it, but
again, I'll still give it a shot. I'll still give it a shot. Maybe I'll like it. Who knows?
Again, I revert to Venom. I love Venom, but to me, Venom without Spider-Man is not terribly interesting. I watched that movie. I didn't think. I mean, I watched the movie because it's Venom and it was Tom Hardy. I didn't figure I was going to get anything out of it. And I don't think the movie was great, but boy, did I love it. So, again, delicious crow. That one was deep fried with a little bit of cream sauce on the side. That was great.
No, I mean, and again, like, maybe I will walk out of this movie going, you know what, it was interesting, good for them, but I didn't dig it. Like, that's certainly possible. I'm not
the possibilities
ruling out
are
that.
endless. I mean, it could be any actions.
So yeah, we'll give it a shot, see what happens, see how it all shakes out. But again, for me, like, what's exciting about it is its uniqueness. And I do think that, financially speaking, Warner Brothers will be paid back for it.
Yep, I'm with you.
It also looks like De Niro is having some fun. Like, I love the little shot in the end, like in the little montage where he's doing sort of the theatrical flourish in front of his curtains.
Yeah.
So, anyway, and then it looks like Thomas Wayne just hauls off and belts Arthur at a certain point.
All signs point to Thomas Wayne being a real peckerhead in this movie.
Seems to be the case.
I thought that was kind of like when they announced the summary for the film months ago, that was kind of implied anyway.
Well, I know when they attached the name of Alec Baldwin prematurely to it, they said that they wanted him to play like a Trump-like character.
Yeah.
Like a seedy businessman kind of a character. But, I know people have Thomas Wayne and, the Kents and all that stuff held to this high standard and regard. But I read a story based on, I think it was the Telltale game series, about Thomas Wayne basically being an evil bastard. And I really enjoyed it. So again, take things for its own context instead of your preconceived notion of what it should be before you come into this. But it's just interesting to me because it's not something I was accustomed to seeing.
Yeah, it was certainly an interesting angle that the Telltale games came from on Thomas Wayne. And yeah, this certainly seems to be sort of in that similar vein, is that he wasn't this great, amazing, benevolent billionaire in Gotham. He certainly wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty if he needed to. And not my personal favorite version of Thomas Wayne. I like Thomas to be this great role model for who Bruce becomes, but it's an interesting angle to play with nonetheless.
Do we have a runtime on this movie yet? Is it 2 hours, give or take, or?
I don't know.
Well, let's say it's 2 hours. Worst case scenario, you don't enjoy a portrayal of Thomas Wayne for 10 or 15 minutes, because I don't imagine he's going to amount to much more than that in this movie. So,
2 hours, 2 minutes is what the runtime's saying.
Okay, so yeah, just under 2 hours minus the credits. Then so,
credits, yeah.
Very interesting.
And again, I really don't. I mean, obviously, you can see that they're
pushing the idea of his descent into madness, if you will. But again, I don't really know what the movie is showing me. And I am fine with that, because I've gotten in the habit for all of these comic book movies anymore. I don't even watch trailers or anything else. I just watch things cold. And I tend to appreciate movies so much more when I do it that way.
Well, and I think that you're right. Like you said that sort of earlier on as well. And I think that you are right in that it is selling us the style. It is selling us the vibe. It is selling us some of Joaquin's performance. But it is holding back a lot of the plot. And I think that's great. It makes for a more exciting movie-going experience. But they're selling the sizzle right now. And then hopefully when we sit down in the theater, there will be some steak there. But I like how restrained the marketing has been for this movie.
And the couple before it, no less.
Yeah, and based on the tracking, it's okay to do that because it's still tracking really large. I mean, I think the name Joker gets you to half of this opening weekend, and then everything else gets the rest of it. So I'm glad that they've showed more restraint, because it will make for a more surprising viewing experience instead of us getting 4 trailers and 20 TV spots and whatever. They've held back, and I think that's great.
Yeah. It's going to be another one of those. I won't be surprised if barely an inkling of the third act showed up in this trailer. Like my gut feeling is when he's in the full getup, the reddish purplish suit and the full makeup and everything, I think that's his third act look. But you don't get a lot of that here, so you don't really see what he's doing. And again, I like that. I really do.
Mm-hmm. I still wonder if we're going to see, the more traditional Joker, like right at the very end or something like that.
I don't think so. I don't have that feeling anymore. Originally, I did. I really did, but I really don't have that feeling anymore. I think that's his final look. And the last trailer, as he was coming down the hallway, and in this one, I think that reddish purplish jacket suit look is. I think that's it. I think that's what we're going to wind up with.
Yeah, I agree. I was the same way. I was
necessarily, but
yeah, I was sure that this was some sort of transitionary look. But yeah, based on what we're seeing, unless they just did a great job of holding back an additional look, I think that this is just this Joker.
And again, setting it apart from other Jokers, or the fact that they don't want it to be in the shared universe concept, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Only got to wait. What, another 5 weeks? Is it?
It's 74 days.
It's coming up pretty close.
74 days.
74.
Wow. Yeah.
It couldn't be 74. It comes out early October. It's September tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It's more like 32, 34 maybe?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Ford versus Ferrari. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong timer. 34 days, 2 hours, 49 minutes, 28 seconds.
There we go.
Not bad.
34 days.
For some reason, I had it set on the wrong timer thing. My fault.
All right, well, Joker, it's going to be fascinating regardless. No matter how it turns out, it is fascinating to watch, and again, I respect that they really thought outside the box, and hopefully it will pay off, and hopefully we'll love the movie, and I'm certainly intrigued by it. That was the best word I had from the last trailer, intrigued, and it remains the best word. I'm just like, wow, this is just so different, but for now, I'm into it.
Well, I'm with you guys.
Did I mention that laugh and how creepy and lovely it is?
It's pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Well, Joker, the final trailer is out there. Some lucky folks are going to be seeing it within days, and then, we will catch up eventually. But we are also continuing our journey through Batman Beyond. And guys, I'm so proud. We've been sticking to it. You know how Batman the Animated Series, we've kind of come in and out, and so far, at least at the beginning here, we're committed.
The quicker we get through it.
I mean, I was thinking it, but he's the one that said it.
Yeah, well. Anyway, so yeah, without further ado, it is time for us to continue our journey through Batman Beyond. So last time we discussed Heroes, which means we are on to... which episode? I want to say 7. Yep, episode number 7, Shriek. Shriek aired on March 13th of 1999. Introduces the brand new supervillain, Shriek. It was directed by Kurt Gaeta, written by Stan Berkowitz. So, Derek Powers, that SOB, he apparently is bankrolling this audio experimental company with this guy whose name is Shriek, right? Shriek was the name of the guy. And so he's doing all these experiments with sound and sound waves, and he's learning all these things, and they're all very great, except none of them are making them any money. But he also has put together this power audio suit that can project different types of sound waves. And he's like, think about all the applications. And Derek Powers is like, I don't care. You're not making me any money. That's why I had to bail you out. So I need you to do some stuff for me. At the same time, we find out that Bruce Wayne has been causing problems for Derek Powers in the boardroom. So because it is Wayne Powers, Bruce, even though it seems like he no longer controls the company, he still has influence over the board of directors, and he has influence over the stockholders, and Powers is trying to bulldoze a historic part of Gotham to build some more, I think, high-rises. I feel like high-rises are always the big evil thing that they're trying to stop in these shows and movies. And Bruce kind of gives this big speech of like, hey, we're forgetting who we are. We're forgetting the history of Gotham. And he gets everyone on his side. And Derek Powers is not happy about this because that is less money in his pocket. So we find out that the favor he wanted Shriek to do was to take out Bruce Wayne. So Bruce and Terry are out there in the historic part of Gotham. We see a wanted poster for the Joker. And apparently that is the only time we see the Joker in the show, not counting the Return of the Joker movie.
I missed that.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting.
I would have thought he would have at least been referenced a number of other times by video footage or something. But
yeah, I think he's verbally referenced. But yeah, you would think that, you would see him in footage, or there would be flashbacks, or
Easter
who knows.
eggs, all kinds of that stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it says that the wanted poster was the only appearance of the Joker that you see aside from the movie. And so while they're out there and talking and looking at this historic part of town, and the historic part of town includes the theater where Bruce and his parents went to the movies before everything changed and they went down Crime Alley. And so he shows that to Terry and he tells him about it. Well, Shriek shows up, tries to kill him. Fortunately, Terry is there. He's in the bat suit, and he saves Bruce from Shriek, and so now they know that there's this new bad guy in town. Bruce ends up in the hospital, and Terry decides to become a detective on his own and look more into Shriek. He eventually finds Shriek because of the material that the suit was made out of, and he goes undercover as a pizza guy to learn more about Shriek. And it works for a while, then he overplays his hand, and Shriek gets wise, and he goes after Terry. So now they know who Shriek is. Terry breaks Bruce out of the hospital. Bruce is hearing voices, and so they're afraid he's crazy. Terry breaks him out. They find out he's not crazy, but Shriek had put a small, two-way radio in the bandages on Bruce's head, so he was hearing voices, and it was driving him crazy. And so Terry goes out to defeat Shriek. So they have their big final battle, much of it in silence, because we learn that Shriek, not only can he use sound to destroy things, he can also eliminate sound. And so they have their big final battle essentially in silence, which I thought was very interesting. And then when Terry manages to bust that part of the suit, all of the sounds come flooding into Shriek's head. He loses his hearing, at least for now. And Bruce Wayne manages to defeat the motion from Derek Powers to bulldoze that part of Gotham, and so they are triumphant for the day. So, Jamie, what did you think of Shriek?
I really like this episode. I think it was probably the best I've seen Terry as Batman so far, in what he was doing both in and out of the suit, both. it had balance. It's trying to develop and present this new villain who's a henchman of the main big bad. It involved Bruce. It involved Terry. So you have everything in the mix. If anything is shortchanged here, I think it might be a little bit of the development for the character of Shriek, but I think they did enough to make it sufficient. Ace, I mean, what can you say? Dog saves the day. So, I like it when stuff like that happens too. And I'm a sucker for like odd sound effects. Like I don't know why, I just love like strange, unusual sound effects appeal to me. And some of the noise that the Sonics were making from Shriek's suit, I thought were really cool.
All right, excellent. Brendan?
I actually didn't mind this episode.
That's as good as you're going to get from him, ladies and gentlemen. Stop right there.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't gush now.
I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it more than the other ones I've seen so far. I didn't really like the look of Shriek like that. I don't know, and that's part of my issue with this whole show. Like, it's just not for me. I can only say it so many times. But yeah, like the story was fine. I'm with you, Andy, that I thought the scenes where the sound was completely taken out was actually really interesting. Yeah, I thought it was good.
All right.
Not great. Good.
Yeah, we got it, Brendan. Thank you. I can only say it so many times, but you keep saying it, don't you?
Yeah.
When he doesn't forget.
So I agree with both of you. I mean, I feel like the complaint that Brendan had in the last one, Heroes, was similar to the complaint that Jamie had in Golem, which is there's not enough Batman. Like it was more focused on the new villains than it was on Batman himself, Bruce and or Terry. And this episode certainly flips that back, and this is a lot more about Bruce and Terry, and I think that is probably why we all liked this one even more, because it really focused on Bruce, it really focused on Terry. You got to see Terry go off on his own, and where he didn't have Bruce to back him up back in the cave. So you see Terry taking a little more initiative, doing more than just being Bruce's eyes on the street, starting to take on more of a detective persona. You see Bruce doing what he can and still fighting evil in the way he can as an old man. Some great nods to Bruce's history with the theater and him trying to preserve the theater. I love the moment where he's like, well, that's the theater. And Terry goes, yeah, but wouldn't you want them to just tear it down so you could forget it? And he goes, would you want to forget what happened to your father? I love that. I think that was great.
Great moment.
So the fact that it tied more of Bruce's world and Batman's past into this episode in the future, I think only makes the episode stronger. But the trade-off is then you do have less time with Shriek, so he feels a little less developed. So you get more time with Bruce and Terry, that means less time with Shriek, and so he feels a little more two-dimensional. I like the idea of him a lot. I think using sound as a weapon is a cool idea, and surprisingly hadn't really been done with a Batman villain. And so I think that was a smart idea, but I also agree with Brendan is like, I don't like the suit at all. I don't like his design. I think that they could do better, but I think that the idea for him was pretty solid. And I liked that he didn't just have the one power of, I destroy things with sound. He could do more than just that. And so using the sound to try and drive Bruce crazy, and then using the sound to cancel out sound, I liked that his abilities were a little more varied than maybe you would expect. But I think that his personality needed work, and I think that if he's one that, like, I want to say he comes back, but again, don't quote me on it, that's something they could continue to develop, because he doesn't have much of a personality to start. He certainly has abilities and he has a look, but I think that they could definitely continue developing who he is. But I think for his introduction, it worked. And
being a pawn of a guy that we've already been introduced and spent a couple episodes with helped to further the idea that I didn't mind him being shortchanged as a character, because again, knowing that he's indebted to Powers, and that technology was already available to him, and Powers kind of backs him into a corner and says, you need to do this stuff for me. that makes it acceptable for me, because Powers is really the main bad guy here. He's just an instrument in the matter. So it didn't bother me as much, but I do agree with what you're saying, is his personality as a character is probably what is shortchanged most here.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. And yeah, Derek is pretty much the big bad for season 1. So that makes a lot of sense. I do like that he essentially, once they find out who he is, and he goes to Derek and he's like, well, my life is over. Like, I can never go home. I can't be out there. They know who I am. And I like that Powers is essentially like, yeah, but that means you get to start a new life. And this is who you are now. And now you're Shriek. And I don't know, to me, I thought that was an interesting progression of like, he was doing something just because he had to do it to keep Derek Powers happy. Mm-hmm. And then as things went down, he had to just further go deeper into the persona of Shriek. And I've got to mention the moment at the end where, the whole time Bruce is hearing these voices and they think he's crazy. And Terry goes, why were you so sure that those voices weren't in your head? Why were you so sure you weren't crazy? And Bruce goes, well, number one, I know I'm not crazy. And Terry's like, yeah, that's not helpful. And Bruce goes, the voice kept calling me Bruce, and that's not what I call myself in my head. I love that. I love it.
I've heard that referenced so many times, but I knew it was either from an animated series or a Batman Beyond episode, but I never carried any real familiarity with having seen it myself somehow. Like, I didn't know if it happened in the animated series and I forgot, or if it was here and I just hadn't seen it. So at least now I have the context for it as a whole episode.
I liked that part as well. I wish they'd sort of stopped it there, though, because I didn't like... I mean, I get it, but I didn't really like Terry being like, that's my name now. It's like, just let Bruce have his moment.
Yeah, no, yeah. I didn't like that they had to underline it, so it's not the most elegant way to say it, but I still love the idea, and I love that that's it. Because I am a Batman fan who thinks that he is Batman. Batman is who he is, and Bruce is the mask. I've always subscribed to that. And so I really, really love that too. So again, like, I love that this is an episode that shifts the focus back to the two of them and their relationship, and both of them actually. You get quite a bit of depth from Bruce, but you also really get a lot more from Terry. So
this one to me honestly felt like the closest to the animated series that Batman Beyond has been so far.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the way that they were able to balance so much stuff in that. How many times have we praised Batman the Animated Series for, my God, how did they fit all this content into a 21, 22-minute runtime? This is really the first time I can give that pat on the back to Batman Beyond 7 episodes in. I think they did a very admirable job getting everything they did into this 1-episode runtime.
Yeah. No, I agree. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I've got one chief complaint about this episode, like one really big complaint. But honestly, I think it's more about me, my perception, and my baggage coming into it than it is about the quality of writing or portrayal or anything like that. And that's that you always know Bruce is the smartest guy in the room. I think of him as 2 steps ahead of anybody else on the board at the time, right? How does he not think about this guy having him bugged somehow? Like, he hears voices and just automatically assumes that, I'm not sure how I felt about all of that and the way it transpired. Am I making sense? You following what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I feel like Bruce is too smart to get tripped up that easily, I think is where I'm coming from.
I can see that. It didn't really bother me, but I can see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not enough for me to, like, want to wipe a film cell from the episode on my bottom and flush it, but it's I don't know, that if I had one thing that I was really going to complain about in this episode, I think that's it.
All right. Well, letter grades, Jamie.
B+, and a solid
Brendan.
one at that. And I'd say just shy of an A-.
Okay. Brendan.
C.
He don't get much over a C with these, does he?
The most generous. Wow. Okay. I'm actually the same as Jamie. I'm at a B+. I think that Shriek is a okay villain, but I think that the stuff with Bruce and Terry really elevates the episode. I do think this is a really good one. So 2 B+ and a C. Moving on. Next one will be episode number 8, Dead Man's Hand. Ooh, which is the return of the Royal Flush Gang. That'll be fun. So, check that one out for next time as we continue rewatching Batman Beyond. Now, we're going to wrap up, like we always like to, by checking in with you, our friends, in the Wayne Manor mailbox. It's time again for the Wayne Manor mailbox.
You've got mail.
What is a letter for me?
Maybe temporary.
She wrote a letter.
You're one hell of a messenger. This is all, Master Wayne.
All right, guys. So, first message here is from Grant Ingram. It says, "Hey, Andy, Brendan, and Jamie. By now, the news is broken that Marvel and Sony were unable to come to a deal regarding Spider-Man. Caused a lot of fans to riot in the virtual streets. My question, do you see the MCU losing Spider-Man as a possible positive for DC? I personally think it will break up the MCU, and that's a perfect opportunity for DC to strike. I'm sad about Spider-Man, but excited to see what happens with DC. I don't think that Marvel and Sony will stay split, but in the event that they do, I just wanted your thoughts. Also, what's your favorite Marvel hero and why? Thanks again, Grant Ingram." Thanks, Grant. What do you think, Jamie? Do you think Spider-Man leaving the MCU creates an opportunity?
I think it has nowhere near that kind of bearing on the effect that Marvel's going to have on their audience. Like, not even close. Marvel was successful before Spider-Man. Marvel will be successful without him if they don't patch it up, which I still don't believe they won't. Its bearing on DC is negligible at best, I think.
Mm-hmm. Brendan?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to have any impact, to be perfectly honest. They're going to keep making the movies they're making and earning a shitload of money, and it doesn't matter what the quality is.
No, yeah, I don't think it'll have any effect on DC either. I think that what it comes down to, and I think part of the big reason they couldn't make the deal, is that neither of them feels they really need the other one. Marvel doesn't need Spider-Man. They want to have him, but they don't need him. They've proven that they can turn almost anything into a hit, so they don't need him. And then Sony feels that, with the last couple movies, with Spider-Verse, with Venom, they feel like they don't need Marvel, at least not at the price that Disney was asking. So I think that's why they split. I think that all will go on, and I think DC will still succeed or fail based on its own output. Favorite Marvel hero, Jamie?
Captain America. He's noble. He's the true leader of the Marvel heroes. I'd love to say Shadowcat's my favorite X-Men character, so she's not very far behind him, but like Cap has such a rich history. He's such a great character on a screen, on a page, anywhere I see him. Cap Wolf for life, baby. Like 3 people caught that reference. Anyway, yeah, Captain America, he's been my favorite for years. What really solidified that for me was Ed Brubaker's Captain America run. God, what was that, 2010, something like that, when that started? The whole Winter Soldier story arc came out of there, and led into Civil War, all that stuff. That's a Hall of Fame run. It's absolutely fantastic, and that's what solidified Cap as my favorite.
All right, what about you, Brendan?
It's funny, I've been thinking about it. I don't know if I actually have a favorite Marvel hero, quote unquote. I just kind of, and I said it on the last episode, like, I have my favorite Marvel movie, which is Captain America: The First Avenger. If I'm being, like, my favorite Marvel character out of all the movies, though, I think's Peggy. Does that count?
Sure. Why not? It's a good answer. I also love Peggy, so stay the fuck away from her.
Mate, I'm about to meet her in a couple of weeks, so...
I hope you don't dance with her and delete her family.
Yeah, well, I watched that movie too.
She's becoming
since
Captain
last
Britain.
we spoke.
Did you see that thing I said, Brendan?
Yes.
With the animated thing of her getting the super soldier serum? That looks just cool as hell to me.
Yeah, and I'm really keen to watch it. It looks great.
I already got my subscription. Got it yesterday.
I don't think we can subscribe over here yet, but I know we're getting it pretty much the same time you guys are.
jump on the same deal that we got if they let you have it, because what is it, a 3-year subscription for like $140? It comes out to like $3 a month.
Yeah, I
$3.88.
don't think we have that yet.
Yeah, well, pay attention just in case, because that's a bargain. Assuming it's not a crap service, and I have 3 years of it for no reason, but I doubt that'll happen.
I just want to live for 3 years so I get my money's worth. My actual favorite Marvel hero, legit, is Gambit.
I was wondering if
should
it's
be
going to be
surprised
Gambit
by
or
that,
Cap.
yeah.
I didn't know who it was going to be.
It's Gambit. Like, Gambit's my all-time favorite. I just love Gambit. Like, he's second to Batman. I love him. I don't know why. Well, I guess I know why. Because he's awesome. Like, everything about him is awesome. I love the South. I love Cajun culture. I love his design. I love his attitude. I love the Thief with a Heart of Gold arc. I love his relationship with Rogue. I love his powers. I love his agility. Like, I just love Gambit. Fun fact, I don't know if did you guys see the Gambit statue that Sideshow is making?
I saw the top half of it.
It was at Comic-Con. You should Google it. And so guys, it is the first Sideshow statue I pre-ordered, and it is not cheap. But
Oh wow.
Nothing from Sideshow ever is. But it's quality.
It is the most I have ever spent on a comic book statue, but he's beautiful, and I did it. Oh, I pulled the trigger. Number 2 is Captain America for all the reasons that Jamie said. But yeah, Gambit, man. Anytime there's a new Gambit action figure, I gotta buy it, you know. He's the coolest.
You want to know why Cap reigns supreme? Read Infinity Gauntlet, that showdown he has with Thanos. That I take that back. The Ed Brubaker thing kind of solidified my fandom of Captain America, but the reason I love Cap is that one page in Infinity Gauntlet. Those of you who have read it know what I'm saying.
Yep.
You know, this conversation just made me think of an interaction, or not an interaction I had yesterday. It was an interaction I had to stop myself from having yesterday. I was on a break from work, and I ducked into JB Hi-Fi next door just to kill a bit of time, and I was looking at their superhero section. And this young lady and her boyfriend were there, and she just was going, "Ugh, I hate Batman. Why would anyone like Batman? I just can't understand the fascination with Batman. He's just shit." And I'm just there, like, gritting my teeth. Like, it was almost like that. It was like that meme of, the kid show Arthur with just, like, the clenched fist just shaking. I had to walk away.
I had somebody, my neighbors, we party with them all the time. They're cool people. I really like them a lot. But we went over to their house because they have a pool, and the kids like swimming in the pool. And she comes out, and she's wearing a Captain America shirt. And we got into this discussion, and she's like, what do you like? This is when we were like first getting to know him. And I was like, Batman's my thing. I love Superman. She's like, oh, Superman is so boring. And I said, you do realize who Captain America is actually based off of, right? And we got into like a whole thing about that. But yeah, I mean, all the time. People like what they like. I get it. If somebody doesn't like Batman, I mean, the world's full of crazy people. I mean, why would those people be an exception?
All right, moving forward. This is from Imad Elaguz. It says, "Hey, Holy BatCast. In your opinion, what characters in the Batverse wouldn't work if their race or gender was swapped? The obvious choices for me would be Batman, Batgirl, and Batwoman. In my opinion, Alfred or Commissioner Gordon won't work for me if they were female because of the history and what they represent to Bruce as father figures. What do you think?" Thanks for the message, Imad. Jamie, what do you think? Anyone that you think like shouldn't be race or gender swapped?
I've said this for as long as I can remember now, and I'm just going to lay it out here. So, I mean, since we're already on a Marvel swing anyhow, there's only one character that I feel like doing any kind of the swapping of gender, race, or any of that other stuff does not work. You want to know who that character is? Captain America. Because you would have to change Captain America's origin time period in order for it to work. Because a black man would not have been able to carry that much respect in the United States in 1941. And I hate saying that, but it's just a fact. A woman would not have carried that much respect in America in 1941. I hate saying that, but it's just the way things were. So unless you alter Captain America's origin to become Vietnam era or something along those lines, that's the only one I don't see working. Batman, Superman, Alfred, Gordon, Any of the other ones. Any of them. I don't care who it is. Works perfectly fine with me. And I'm still waiting for Idris Elba to become Batman, so I'm all for it.
I was just going to say, like, Catwoman. It's right there in the name. It's the only one I can really think of.
Oh, shouldn't be gender swapped? Yeah, and there is a Catman if you want it.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, just in terms of that character, I don't know. It's a tough one to answer. I'm sort of the same. Like, I can't think of any that, like, you were saying, was it Helen Mirren you thought of for Alfred?
Alfred, yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm cool with that. Like, that doesn't bother me. Yeah. It would depend. Like, it's very depend on the situation, I think, and like what the character is. But I'm sort of cool with that.
Yeah, I honestly I don't have strong feelings about it. There have been questions and murmurs about what if Batman was black, and a lot of people use that as like a defense when some other character gets race swapped, and I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't care. Batman can be black. There's no reason he can't be black. It doesn't bother me. Or Mexican, like I feel, or Asian. It doesn't matter to me. Like I feel like for a hot minute, people said Oscar Isaac for Batman, and he is not white. I think he's Hispanic, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm fine with that too. Idris Elba, yeah, sure, cool. As far as race swapping, I don't think there's anyone that it would really bug me. And then gender swapping is a little trickier, because I think that, like some of the villains, you wouldn't necessarily be able to gender swap. Like you're right, Catwoman. But even like, could they gender swap Two-Face? Sure. Would it work as well? I don't think so, but they could try, And like I said, the Alfred thing, I'm not the only one who said, there's no reason Alfred can't be female. That's, I've heard that too, and I agree.
You want a case for Helen Mirren being Alfred? Watch the movie Red, and then watch the 2 Fast and Furious movies she's in.
And Hobbs and Shaw.
Which is the second Fast and Furious movie that she's in.
Oh, is she in 2? Or I can't keep track. Anyway, like honestly, like as far as race and gender swapping, I'm pretty easygoing about it. Doesn't really bug me. Next message is from Matthew Malecki. It says, "Hey guys, hey Andy, Brendan, and possibly Jamie. What do you think the chances are we get a full Bat family in live-action DC films? I think it's likely we'll get Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon. They're big enough characters in their own right, and seeing them seems like a foregone conclusion. What about everyone else? Jason Todd, Red Hood, Tim Drake, Red Robin, Stephanie Brown, Spoiler, Damian Wayne, Kate Kane, Batwoman, Jean-Paul Valley, Azrael, Luke Fox, Batwing, Harper Row, Bluebird, Duke Thomas, Signal." Anyway, he just names them all. He says Cassandra Cain and Huntress are going to appear in Birds of Prey, but as of right now, I don't think we have any idea if they'll be part of the Bat family. I love James Tynan's run on Detective. I'd love to see some semblance of a Bat family like that in live action. So what do you think the chances are of seeing this in the upcoming Matt Reeves directed Batman film series? Your Bat friend, Matt Malecki. Thank you, Matt, and thanks for the message. Jamie, what do you think? Bat family in live action?
Eventually, yes. Will it be as comprehensive as that list that you just rattled off? No, I don't really think it will be, but it's just definitely going to happen. It's just a matter of whether I live long enough to see it.
Jamie? Or I'm assuming Brendan?
Yeah, I totally agree. That's exactly what I was thinking as you're reading through the list. Is like, I mean, I think you'll get the likes of, say, Nightwing, Robin, hopefully it's Tim, Batgirl, maybe Batwoman, if the popularity's there with the TV show and everything. But I don't think it would be as in-depth and comprehensive as that, because it's way too many characters.
Yeah. Let me put it this way. The further Matt got into his list, the less likely it was.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see Duke, Signal. I don't think we're going to see...
Batwing.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Batwing. I don't think we're going to see Bluebird. I think that,
Batwing I thought was maybe a possibility.
I think we'll see Batwing in the Batwoman show.
Yeah.
Well, technically he's already there, so yeah.
Well, but I think that, in a season or two, you will see him actually become Batwing. But no, I mean, Dick Grayson and Barbara, we will see them. Then I have a horrible fear, and now it's I think 3 episodes in a row I've mentioned it. I have a horrible fear that we're going to get Damian and not Tim, which is going to piss me off.
Yeah, but with the younger Batman though, like he would have had to get it on with Talia very young.
But I also honestly have a hard time thinking they're going to go past Dick Grayson. Like I think that Dick Grayson Robin, sure, but like will they go far enough to go Jason Todd and or Tim Drake and or Damian? And I doubt it.
No, they won't. They'll go with whatever the current hot one is, and you're probably right. That's going to mean Drake's going to take a back seat to Damian, and right or wrong, I mean that's kind of where they're at in the comics right now.
Wrong.
Too.
Wrong.
You get what I'm saying. Damian shows up in at least 3 different comics every month. Tim shows up in 1.
Yeah.
That's why I don't read current comics.
So I would expect. I think we will get a Bat Family on live action. I just don't think it will be as extensive as what we get in comics.
No. Even if we get it on the likes of what Batman the Animated Series was, I think it'd be pretty good. Which would be Nightwing, Robin, Batgirl. It just to get half a dozen of them there would do my heart a world of good. I would be content with that. So that I can definitely see happening, but getting up into 15 or 20 territory, not a chance. You can't even make that happen in a comic book outside of like a double splash page thing. So
yeah. I mean, for years I said my Batman trilogy would be the first one would be about Batman and Dick Grayson, second would be about Batman and Jason Todd, third one would be about Batman and Tim Drake.
And that begs the question: why aren't you in charge here?
I don't know.
Because I would watch the shit out of that.
Well, also he could give us jobs,
right?
That too, but I wasn't going to put the cart before the horse here.
All right. Next message is from Chris Elliott. Get a life.
I love that guy. He's hilarious.
It says,
Kingpin.
Hey guys, I was curious if you've ever watched the Batman serials from 1943 and 1949. I know they're filled with all kinds of critical problems, but I enjoy watching them as a piece of Batman's early history. Have you seen them? What did you think? Thanks, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Brendan?
Damn, you went to me first. Okay.
I did.
I've seen,
ha!
Because I was about to quickly Google. I've seen one of them. I can't remember. I can never remember which one it is that I've seen. I've seen one of them all the way through, and the first couple of episodes of the other one. The one that I've asked Jamie, and I'll quickly Google and see which one it is the one that I've watched.
I'm not sure which. I've got a DVD set. I don't know if it's got both of those on it or just one. I've watched a couple of the episodes in it, and for what it is, for the time it was made, for what they were working with, I thought they did a pretty good job with it. I really did. And I distinctly remember my wife and I laughing for like a half an hour after the fact because Bruce Wayne and Batman drive the same car and nobody can figure this out. But, again, what you're working with in the 1940s, I don't think they're bad. I really don't.
Okay.
But you're talking to somebody who likes Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man movies and Red Brown Captain America movies, so what the hell do I know?
Me too.
The one that I've watched is the 1949 one. The one with Robert Lowry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I watched the first one because years ago, I was like, I'm going to watch them all from beginning to end. And I got about halfway through the first one, and then I never went back. I don't hate them or anything, but yeah, they're not the easiest to watch in this day and age, but I certainly respect them for what they are. And I figure someday we will cover them on this show, and when we do, then I will watch them both.
Anybody know off the top of your head if those are on DC Universe?
I don't think they are, which they should be. I feel like those should almost be in public domain at this point.
I was going to say the rights can't be hard to get a hold of for them.
Because the one that I've seen is the 1949 one because it came out on DVD here in Australia when Batman Begins came out. And
same here.
The first one, I actually got in the States when I first came over in 2006, but it's never been released in Australia. But I do have both sets on DVD.
Cool. Anyway, moving forward, this is from our pal Eric Carter. It says, hey, Bat Family, I apologize if this is long-winded. I've got a few guys. I have my comic book... Wait. that are on my comic book shop's Facebook group that constantly complain about everything in the industry. They're in their late 50s. This is now turned toward the new Joker movie. I've actually noticed it a bit in the Real Fans group as well. People don't consider this role to really be the Joker. I literally saw one guy post that people are paying money for shit like this is the reason the industry is going down the toilet. I honestly don't get the cynicism.
That guy is the one I was talking about earlier, that if Jeff Lemire wrote a one-shot about Joker that was the same theme as this, he'd be the first in line to buy it. Sorry, go ahead.
I honestly don't get the cynicism. I see Joker as I see Batman, a character that's free to interpret as long as the core of the character is there. This is why there are so many versions of both in comics and film. What do you say? Is Joker really a Joker story, and is the comic industry headed down the toilet? Thanks for the great podcast that you continue to produce. I look forward to it every week. Your Bat brother, Eric Carter. Thanks, Eric. I like that guy.
He's a nice dude.
Guy. He's a nice guy. I like him. What say you? Is the Joker movie some insult, and is the industry going down the toilet, Jamie?
No and no. Although the industry is frustrating to everybody. But, you know, what are you going to do? I'll give you an example. I went and picked up my stack yesterday at the comic book shop. They had a thing that was soliciting New Mutants #1 sitting up on the counter. And I pointed at it, and my guy looked at me. He's like, what do you want me to tell you? It's Marvel. I was like, well, you know, this on and on, it was back and forth. Marvel does #1s every year or two. He's like, I got that beat. I was like, okay. He's like, X-Force is like, I think it's like 5 or 6 issues into its run. Guess what comes out next month? X-Force #1. Yep.
Jeez. Madness, I tells you.
Madness. To anybody who isn't walking into a comic shop looking to jump onto something at #1, it's frustrating as hell. So.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, we already talked about Joker. I feel like we're all like open to another interpretation, because why the F not? Yes?
Yeah, exactly.
But I also feel like something that Brendan said on the last episode, and I completely agree with, and is that yes, the Joker is open to many interpretations, and I'm certainly willing to watch them all, but I am still waiting for my off-the-page comics accurate Joker. Why am I still waiting for that when we've had so many freaking Jokers?
Well, I mean, to be technical there, I mean, which Joker in the comics do you want? You want
the one that I like best.
You want New 52, you want Denny O'Neil, you want Rebirth. What is it you're looking for here? Because they're all over the place.
I think classic Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams type Joker.
Hell yeah. Or you could even say, I want animated series Joker.
Yeah, Mark Hamill's Joker as well. Yeah, definitely.
So I guess I sort of get where those people are coming from who are like, hey, that's not Joker. What they mean is that's not the Joker they want. It doesn't mean it's not Joker. Because again, as we've seen, Joker can be many things. As for the industry going down the toilet, no, come on. Like, it's going to be around. It can be frustrating, as Jamie said, and it'll change and adjust. But I mean, I think it's still going to be there. So, next message from Joseph Stewart. It says, hey guys, hope you're doing well. Is there a chance that you could review the Fleischer Superman cartoons? I enjoy them. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Or to hear your thoughts on the new Rise of the Skywalker trailer that featured Rey with a double-sided red lightsaber. What are your predictions for that film? Joseph, thank you for the message. The Fleischer Superman cartoons, those I think are on DC Universe.
Yes. And they're a couple years ago, I started watching those on Amazon, I think is what they were on at the time. And that is some really good quality stuff considering the era that they were made in, especially. But I mean, even by today's standards, I think that show is impressive. So eventually I'd like to get around to doing something like that, but man, it's just such a full slate out there, other stuff to get through before we get to that.
That's true. As for Rise of Skywalker, Jamie?
My prediction is it's going to make a lot of money. And that's the only prediction you're getting out of me for that movie. But I'm definitely all in to see it.
Brendan, you already said how much you love
I was going to say,
Star Wars.
It's a Batman podcast. Why would we talk about Star Wars?
Yeah, that's true. It's a great point.
I mean, I wasn't going to say nothing because I like Star Wars. But...
And I do like the Fleischer Superman cartoons, for the record. They're really good.
I have seen them, but it was been so long ago I don't remember them, so I'd love to revisit those. As for Rise of Skywalker, I am certainly looking forward to it. I love the trailer. Do I think Rey is going bad? No, of course not. But I think that the image did its job and it got people talking, and that's why it's there. That's why they found an excuse to put it in the movie. So I look forward to seeing it at Christmas. Next message is from Stephen Marshall. It says, hey, Andy, Jamie, and Brendan, I want to ask you about the CW crossovers. First of all, did you see the deleted scenes that were released from last year's Elseworlds? Clark giving Oliver a pep talk and Deegan's interaction with Supergirl. It explained why he decided to take on the Superman moniker. If so, what did you think? I think it was a shame to lose those scenes. Secondly, which characters do you think may end up dying in Crisis? Lastly, where will they go from Crisis? Is there any other comic arcs that you could think of that would make for great crossovers? Sorry for the long email, and thanks from the UK, Steven. Brendan, I know you're into the DC crossovers, so I'm going to let you go first.
I haven't seen the deleted scenes. I've missed
Neither have
that.
I.
Check them out, but I know that I don't know if I know Elseworlds. Do you guys get the crossovers released as their own individual release over there in terms of?
I don't think so.
Blu-ray, DVD, because I know we do. We get the series, like the full series, and then we get the crossovers as their own standalone event release as well. So I'm wondering because that came out this past week, I'm pretty certain. So I'm wondering if it might be because of that, like it was, bonus content or something. I'm not sure. In terms of who's going to die, I think was it last episode we were talking about maybe Superman not surviving. I mean, Oliver not surviving is a foregone conclusion. Let me know that's kind of what this is leading up to. I think with the death of Oliver, I mean, that's such a big... I mean, it's called the Arrowverse for a reason, I can't see too many more people dying other than that. But like I said, maybe Superman, because then it takes him off the board for, the rest of Supergirl and stuff moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to happen, but yeah.
Right. Jamie, any thoughts?
About the deleted scenes, I don't know anything about them. I haven't seen them. That's the first I've heard about them, so I can't say anything there. Crossover wise, who's going to die? Oliver's gone. Probably Jimmy Olsen. I've heard everybody argue the point of the Superman thing, and the logic is there. It makes sense, but I just, in the back of my mind, I keep thinking to myself, why would WB want to close that door when they could actually have the potential to make a Superman series with this guy eventually, if they wanted to? I don't know. As far as future crossovers, I mean, Armageddon 2001, I mean, that's the one everybody loves, right?
Ooh, I like it.
Or better yet, if you're going to kill off a bunch of people in this crossover, the next crossover should be Blackest Night.
Ooh, I like that too.
Just give them a chance for those dead characters to come back for 3 or 4 episodes. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But you'd need Green Lantern to do Blackest Night, so get on this, Berlanti.
That's true.
Well, there are those rumors this morning.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good answers. This message is from Jeff Wildman. It says, hey, Andy, maybe Jamie, and probably Brendan. I'm way behind on the podcast. I've been trying to catch up. I missed that you were doing the fan casting episode, and I'm a big fan of fan casting. I've had a list on my phone that I occasionally tweak and change as ideas come to mind. So I thought I'd be that guy and send mine in late. I do love some of your choices, but here are mine. Note that in a perfect world, J.K. Simmons and Jeremy Irons would return, but I assume they're not, so I picked others. All right, so here's what he says. He says Bryan Cranston or Ethan Hawke as Jim Gordon. Alfred, Rowan Atkinson, or Michael Gambon. I certainly considered Michael Gambon as well as Alfred. It crossed my mind. The Riddler, Eddie Redmayne. That was on my list. I pushed Eddie Redmayne off for Zachary Quinto, but yes. Barbara Gordon, Maya Hawke. I don't know who that is.
From Stranger Things season 3.
The ice cream girl.
Oh, Robin.
Yes.
Yeah. How did we not pick her?
I deliberately didn't.
Yeah, because we were trying to stay away from Stranger Things.
Yes.
Well, speaking of, he says Dick Grayson, Dockery Montgomery, who is Billy in Stranger Things.
Another Aussie,
and then
too.
it says KJ Appa. I don't know who that is. If the Penguin is older, Giovanni Ribisi. If the Penguin is younger, Cole Sprouse. That's an interesting one.
I don't know who Cole Sprouse is.
Cole Sprouse is like, isn't he on like Riverdale?
I don't watch that show.
He's like one of the wasn't he like the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, right?
I don't watch that show either.
I don't know. I think it was one of the twins or something. Catwoman, it says Rosario Dawson.
Yes, please.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, he was the kid in Big Daddy.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Is he in Riverdale? Was I right about that?
Yeah, he's in Riverdale, yeah.
Okay, cool. Bane, Dominic Purcell. Okay. I'm surprised that I hadn't heard that before, but that makes sense.
Dominic Purcell. I know the name, but I can't place who it is.
He's Heatwave on Legends.
Oh. Yeah, that's why I didn't think of it. Okay.
Poison Ivy, Emma Roberts, or Madeline Petch.
No idea who that is. I know who Emma Roberts is. I don't know who Petch is.
And then it says Alexandra Daddario as anyone else, please.
Yes. I've been wondering for like 5 years why nobody snapped her up for a superhero movie, because look at her.
Yeah, someone said, how about her for Barbara? And it's funny because when we were doing our episode, I definitely thought of her, but I thought she was too old for Barbara, but too young for Catwoman. And so I didn't put her as either.
I saw that tweet too, and I was like, ooh, she'd be a good Catwoman. I like that idea.
I still think she's too young, but that's me. But I liked the idea that someone put out maybe not years ago, but a while ago, of her as Zatanna. I'm all for that. It says, anyway, it's all I've got. It's fun to...
Wait. You can't move on from that. Alexandra Daddario is Katana. Are you ready? Here you go. There's my wallet.
Zatanna, but yes. I would not cast her as Katana. That's where I would not race swap something.
I meant Zatanna.
No.
I know.
I've been drinking a lot tonight, so excuse me. I meant Zatanna.
It's all good. I figured. No, it happens all the time. I always listened back to podcasts, and I'm like, is that what my mouth said? Because my brain definitely didn't say that.
I do that stuff all the time because I don't podcast sober. It's my own fault.
It's crazy. Anyway, he says it's fun to fan cast and then sit back and see who gets cast and then watch the internet burn down for 2 weeks until everyone moves on to something else. Anyway, thanks, fellas. Jeff Wildman. Thank you, Jeff, for your thoughts. That's always fun to hear. Let's do one last one here just because it's appropriate, and then we're going to have to save the others because Brendan's got to go. This is from Gaurav Venkateswar, who he created our Wayne Manor Mailbox intro. He says, hey, guys, I'm finally writing into my favorite podcast I've been listening to since 2014. And I used to love the Batman universe. Would love to hear the other Jamie guest sometime again. I like both Jamies. It's not a competition. I appreciate the time.
No, I've said for years there can be only one.
Oh, man.
He would have got a kick out of the hashtag confirmed that you threw in the other episode.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It says, I appreciate the time and dedication you put into the podcast. My day job can be high pressure, and most of my friends aren't into superheroes, so podcasts like yours are an amazing outlet. I think someone wrote in about it, but I'd love for you guys to talk about the 1940s serials. Huh, that's weird.
Wow.
It says, if I'm not mistaken, they were notable for introducing the Batcave, the grandfather clock entrance, and the iconic look of Alfred. I actually think that the serials created Alfred.
Was they
predated
responsible
the comics?
for the bat signal as well? Or was that from the comics? Because I know in the one I've watched, there's a little thing that like Commissioner Gordon pushes up to the window and turns it on. It looks like a record player, and it's the bat signal.
Wow. I want to say the bat signal came from the comics, but now I'm doubting myself. Maybe Alfred was. I think I swore.
Was comics. I would bet vital parts of Brendan's anatomy on this.
Okay.
No, I'm glad you're that confident.
Maybe I'm mistaken then. I apologize. Anyway, it says it doesn't have to be a full episode, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd also love to hear you talk about DC Superhero Girls. While it's for kids, I think the way it was adapted is really well done. Finally, I know that someone asked about the listener mail theme song, and I wanted to do a breakdown of the clips. The music opens with a remix of the Batman 89 animated series theme and then goes into the 60s Batman theme. Because, yeah, a couple episodes ago, someone goes, can you please tell me what all those sound clips are because I can't make them all out? And I was like, I didn't do it, so I can't make them all out. So Gaurav was nice enough to share. He goes, okay, it's Mark Hamill's Joker laugh. It is the AOL You've Got Mail clip. It says Tim Drake saying hilarious from the new Batman Adventures. It's the same clip with the Joker laugh. And that actually is from Holiday Nights. I remember that. It says, it's Bugs Bunny saying, what's this? A letter for me, which is a reference to DC being part of WB. I never caught that was Bugs Bunny. But that helps with that mystery because I think everyone thought it was Harley. But it's Bugs Bunny. It's Funnel Fairy Buffle Bar, or whatever Jeremy Irons Alfred says to test Batman's voice modulator in BVS. It's Ben Affleck's Batman saying, maybe temporary, in Justice League in response to Commissioner Gordon. It is Michael Caine saying she wrote a letter, referring to Rachel's letter to Bruce in The Dark Knight Rises. It's Batman telling The Flash, you're one hell of a messenger, from the Flashpoint Paradox animated film. And then Jeremy Irons' Alfred saying, comes to us all, Master Wayne, but it sounds something like this is all Master Wayne. Thanks, Gaurav. Gaurav, thank you for breaking that down. That Bugs Bunny thing blew my mind. I had no idea that was what that was.
Yeah, that was by me. I would have never guessed that. But
So
I will say
thank
this.
you for solving that.
The Why Not Futurama theme, I was listening to that on the way to take my kids to school. I think it was day before yesterday. And the theme kicked in, and all four of us just started dancing in the car, and we all suffer from terminal whiteness, but we didn't care. It was amazing.
Yeah, he did a great job on that one too. Like, I want to get him to do all of our podcasts, but he is busy, so I don't want to ask too much of him.
No, I get
like,
it. But, man, the cat does good work. He really does.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Like he did the listener email for Disorder. He did the theme for Why Not Futurama, and then he did our Wayne Manor mailbox. So God bless him. He is part of the family.
Disorder one's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, now that Real Fans for Real Movies is resurrected from the dead.
Hey, Gaurav, if you're listening to this. He does such a good job, and it's so funny because I'm like, hey, like, can you try to throw something together? And he comes back and it's like perfect. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like, don't change a thing. Great, thank you. So anyway, we do have a couple emails left, but I want to get Brendan on his way. So thank you guys for writing in. If you've got a message for the Wayne Manor mailbox, you can send that to Holy BatCast at rf4rm.com. It's always great to hear from you guys. But that is where we're going to wrap up this episode of the show. Always a good time. Jamie, thanks for staying up. Well, it's not too late. It's a little late. But thanks for staying up and joining us
this is generally
time.
when we would start a podcast before you got deported.
Okay, so we should start from at this time normally now?
No, we should not.
I can hear the crickets, and I think it's crickets in Indiana.
Yeah.
It makes me homesick for the Midwest.
They're singing me lullabies out there.
Aw. Anyway, glad you could join. Tell the folks at home where to keep up with you.
Twitter, BatRaider3960. And it's football season, so it's going to get live on there.
Oh. And Brendan, thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you for accommodating me. I've got to duck off and see a production that a friend of mine has directed. So, yeah. And you can find me at Loey007 on Twitter. You can find my podcast at nightlight.podbean.com. And as of literally just before we started recording this morning, I now have another podcast that I'm doing with a friend of mine that's all about the Olympic Games. So if you're interested in that like I am, you can find that at sittingonourrings.podbean.com.
Sitting on our rings.
Yeah. Because that's the way we take in the games. We sit on, it's a euphemism for ass.
Oh, is a butt a ring?
Yeah, your ring.
Oh, I'm picturing like one of those hemorrhoid pillows. That's like a donut.
No. The Australians are so weird.
Interesting. All right. Well, there you go. Brendan, what are you doing with another podcast? Like, do one podcast only. You don't need to do more than one.
Well,
that's ridiculous.
Coming from the guy who's done 6 today.
I was going to say,
that's ridiculous.
I've learned from the master.
Well, since we're all on here, we got to get this details ironed out for this Golden Girls podcast to happen because, man, that show's addictive.
And it's starting to get legs. I think people really want that, and I can tell you now, I'd definitely be down for it if you guys want to start one.
Look,
if we can work out scheduling.
I've been watching it on Hulu. My wife does not get up and leave the room when it comes on. She watches it. And my daughter started watching it with me the other night, and they didn't get up and leave for 3 straight episodes. My son, he doesn't care. He was watching Beyblades or whatever the hell he's watching right now. But, I mean, he's the only one that's not into it in my house. I think even the dog was watching for a while.
It's so good.
It's the best. It's the best. It's just a matter of, can we find another hour in the week for us to do it?
Probably not.
I mean, look, I'd be happy to
certainly
merge the two and just asshole Batman Beyond, and we review episodes of the Golden Girls every episode.
And now on Holy BatCast, we're going to watch the next episode of the Golden Girls.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Well, we can just change the title of the show. We can call it Oldie BatCast.
Golden
I did offer a suggestion of a show title for Andy, but he said he didn't want to have Golden Shower in the name of a podcast. So, hey, I tried.
I don't know what that means down under, but up here, that's not a good thing to say. Well, I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, you be you. Don't get me wrong.
Don't kink shame me. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I hurt Brendan's feelings. I think you were so proud that you came up with a title that included Golden Shower. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
I can't remember what it was now, but yeah. Because there's actually, when you Google, because I thought of Thank You for Being a Podcast, but that already exists. There's actually quite a few Golden Girls podcasts out there.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Just like Futurama. Like when I started Why Not Futurama, I kept coming up with names and then Googling them and going, oh, that exists. So that's why I landed on Why Not Futurama.
What about Lads on the Lanai?
That's not terrible, but there is one that's called Out on the Lanai.
Yeah, I know. I listened to that one.
I still say the Futurama podcast should have been called Whoop, 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 but I don't know how to spell it.
That's true. My mother was a saint. Oh, man. Yeah, the other day, Tim Rooney, who does Please Rewind with Jamie, and he does his own show, Anything Goes, free plug, just because we love you, Tim. And he goes, yeah, I was so proud that I got my new episode out, and then I looked and saw that you posted 3 in a day, and I was like, I'm a slacker.
You're the Blanche of podcasting. You're a total slut.
I know. Well, when you're good at what you do.
Oh, God, what was the line that Dorothy said to her the other day? He's like, not all of us are declared a safe
friendly
port by
port.
the Navy. Friendly port by the Navy. Oh shit! I fell off the couch on that one.
Yep.
Oh, and
I'm a friendly port for the podcasting Navy.
Oh well.
So, all right. Well, anyway, yes, follow Jamie, follow Brendan. If you'd like to follow me, I already told you where to do that. Again, do check out all the shows that are part of the Real Fans Network. So, as I mentioned, there's Why Not Futurama. I also mentioned Jamie, Tim, and Guy doing Please Rewind, which is looking back at older movies. Real Fans for Real Movies made a quick return. We'll see when the next one of those will happen. Grim Grinning Hosts is our pal Hunter's show. So, there's a bunch of stuff. Am I missing one? I'll feel bad if I excluded one. Disorder, of course. Disorder. We just did Dinosaur, which is a Disney movie that you probably don't remember.
There's all of your podcasts. There's Tim's podcast, and there's Hunter's podcast. I mean, that's kind of where it comes down to now.
Yeah. We need to just call it and to Barry taking the bullet. I don't think that one's coming back. Anyway, thank you guys as always for joining us. Thank you for downloading the show. Please do subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. That is always appreciated. Visit holybatcast.com. Follow us all over social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast. And again, rf4rm.com is where you'll find most of those other shows. If you've got a message for the Wayne Manor mailbox, that's holybatcast@rf4rm.com. So on behalf of Jamie and Brendan, I've been Andy. This has been Holy BatCast. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel.
BatCast is brought to you by real fans for real movies. Remember, the thoughts and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone, and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for.
I have some bad news for you. This is the last time we'll be meeting.
You don't listen, do you? You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts.
Brendan, can you hear us? We can hear you saying hello.
Play some didgeridoo music. That'll get him.
I know. You and I can still hear each other. What the hell did he do?
Maybe the string on his tin can snapped.
A koala chewed through his cable.
Oh, those bastards. They're like squirrels over there.
I know. They're just everywhere. They're like owls in Futurama. Oh, I think he just hung up on us. Good. Fuck him.
Dirtbag. I held that one back just for you.